And welcome everyone to the next part of the How to Introduce the X-Men to the MCU. This is slightly late. That is my bad. 100% my bad.
Partially.
Was it partially yours? I just thought it was on mine.
Yeah, I'll take blame.
Fair enough. Either way, majority was mine. I completely lost track on the Monday, and I was like, "Oh, I'm supposed to record, bugger." And it's like, I have no idea. I'm just gonna call it off and have a week to think about it. Fun fact: a week goes by, still not 100% sure what I want to do for the X-Men. I have an inkling of an idea to carry on from what I had last week, but anyway, you can follow Twitter at Mitch692, and once again, as always, I'm joined by Sean.
What's up, man? You can join me anywhere, especially on this station. No social media to tell, Sorry, still in.
Cool. If you can hear a fan and cars going past, I don't apologize. It's too hot, so you can live with it.
Too bad.
And unfortunately, not all of us can have air conditioning. You have to make deal with crappy little like £10 fans in Tesco's. Do the job, but Christ on it.
Third world problems.
I feel like a third world right now with everything going on, Christ. But yeah, back to the X-Men. Last week I said I kind of wanted to really go. I think we kind of both agreed to go the Hickman route.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
It's the path of least resistance, I find.
Oh, that and that it's basically the blueprint of like what the film series should be. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not use one of the best runs? And kind of merge. You can add and take away a little bit here and there, but I think the Hickman stuff really.
It's exactly what
is
I'm cinematic. Putting stuff in, taking little tiny bits out. Well, I'm not taking tiny bits out. I'm taking an idea and twisting it into something different. So it's not exactly the Hickman run. It kind of relates to what Hickman did with another version of. Actually, was it Hickman in that version of the X-Men? Or was it
Which
Spencer?
One?
The Ultimates.
Oh, the Ultimates. Yeah, I think it was Spencer.
So I know Spencer did at one point in 2009, but I can't remember if Hickman did anything else in there. I could be wrong. I could be right. I'm not 100% sure. I will fact check that later on and leave everyone else hanging. But
I'm pretty sure they'll fact check it for you. So
I'm more than likely. But yeah. What I find interesting, just before I get into the whole thing, is that it looks like movies are actually just going to start dropping in mutants. It's like, hey, here's Firestar. No explanation, just Firestar's here.
Well, I mean, so, you could. I mean, in the fictional world that we live in with this, you could have starts hinting at it in previous stuff, and the stuff that's coming out,
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got a problem with it. It's just kind of, we're just going to randomly drop Firestar in, of all people. I know obviously because Spider-Man and his amazing friends, and it makes sense. But Firestar, cool. There, done. I say I know. That's my assumption that I came to, because obviously it's a dynamic he hasn't had yet, so I want to do it. But yeah, so for my second part of this, I don't know how many parts I'm going to go with this one. I'm probably going to keep it down to 3. But I kind of want to do a Civil War. I know it's very early on to do a Civil War, but maybe just set up the idea of that. Because you have the Krakoa, and then if you look at the Ultimates, you had the whole Jean Grey, and I think it was Tian. I think that's how you pronounced it. That little mutant haven they had. It was kind of Krakoa-y because it was all the flying nature and the rocks. Admittedly, that was very Japanesey, very Asian architecture, and this Krakoa is very plant-based. But I just want to split them off in that direction.
Well, I mean, you could kind of merge them together.
Yeah, but I need the Civil War split.
Yeah,
the 2 different factions. So because in the Hickman run, there was that whole thing, or there is that whole thing of Destiny not being allowed to come back. And Destiny's not allowed in the island, because if she, or any future seer, anyone with foresight isn't allowed on there in case they come into contact with Moira and they find out what's going on. Because we can't have that. For one reason or another, I'm behind. I don't know if they even touched upon that since. So I kind of want to run with that idea, but this time it's like Jean Grey finds out what's going on, and that's why there's the split in modern day. Obviously, it's going to be an older Jean Grey because it's not the young original five I had in the first one in the past, or in that timeline. It's present Jean Grey, or it might not even be present Jean Grey. I haven't decided yet, but still that kind of thing going on.
Do you change? Would you change the lineup of the?
I do have a lineup actually. I do have a lineup. It's a very. I'm not entirely sure on it, to be honest. I just wanted something different, for, like the main, like the core you're gonna follow. Like, obviously, you got the original five in the past, so you can just set them up for the future. So you're gonna have like Jean Grey or Zorn, whatever she was called in the Ultimates at one point. You got Scott, you got Bobby, you got Hank, you got Warren, obviously, the original five.
Yeah.
The core I want to follow is like Kitty Pryde, Magic. I want to do something different with the Wolverines. So you're gonna have Logan's gonna be there. He can't not be there, but he's not gonna be on the team itself. But
He's gonna be like a background character.
Yeah, like you're gonna have like, the Hickman Council that he has and everything. So I want him on that. He can stay over there and be a supporting character and not have his own movies elsewhere. But I want to twist about the whole kid aspect that he has. Like, what is it? Tom Taylor made Laura Kinney his actual biological daughter, not a clone.
Biological daughter, yeah.
So I want that to be like she's going to be on the team, but I also want to take from the Ultimates again and have Jimmy Hudson on the team. Because I really like Jimmy's. I'm not the only person that likes Jimmy as a Wolverine. And it's like, have them both on there. You kind of use them to fill in that twin dynamic that you don't get with Wonder and Pietro anymore, which, man, that's fine with me, but it's still, you have that there. And it's just something different. And then, because obviously they're going to be like more on the younger side. You didn't have like Colossus. Because who doesn't want Colossus? Like,
I always love Colossus.
Especially if you've got Magic around, like Ileana. I have Colossus around.
Yeah.
Have him be the teacher that goes along with him, and he's just like the parental figure.
Yeah. He's always good as a supporting character. I don't see him too much as I don't know. It's like subverting a lot of people's expectations. Like if you use him as the.
I mean, he's arguably a lead in Deadpool, really.
It's true. It's true.
Or a co-lead, I should say.
Yeah, I always love the visual look of the character. You know, like.
So my only thing with Colossus, he has been around for virtually every movie that Fox made. And it's like, are people going to be tired of Colossus? But
well, I think Deadpool kind of proves that the character is still popular. You know, like he's like one of the he's arguably probably one of the better characters in that movie. You know,
it's probably the best character in Deadpool 2, actually.
And I say that
next to Domino. Next to Domino. Him and Domino probably carried that movie as much as they could.
I mean, and they were in the less of the movie, you know?
Yeah. So I'm not entirely. I still want Nimrod as well to be the main, like, villain pulling the strings and everything. I decided earlier on if I'm going to do the future storyline, I'm going to change that about as well and have. Do you remember? I can't remember what they were called, but it was that group of 5 that Hickman made that did all the eggs. And you had that the girl with the time powers. You had Hope Summers. You had Golden Balls. I think. I think it was Fastus. I think it was Fastus. You had
Fastus.
And then I can't remember who the other one was, but they did like the whole. You know, we're going to manipulate these eggs, and that's how people can come back to life. And then we just put Cerebro in them.
Yeah.
So I want them to come back from like a future timeline instead of being. And maybe that future timeline is from the present MCU, and then they come back at some point, and that's just like the little future tease. And it's like, hey, this is going to happen, and this goes wrong. You need to change it, and then
I like that.
What were you going to say before I interrupted you? Sorry.
Oh no, I was like, every time I hear Golden Balls, I kind of laugh, giggle. Sorry.
I mean, it's the best worst name in comics.
Yes, it's
Absolute
hilarious.
best worst name. It's a typical Bendisism.
I don't want to degrade the show by juvenile.
I mean, it's already degraded. Let's be honest.
It's true. It's true.
It's got me.
I don't want to bring it down anymore. Yeah, I like yeah, I have a similar not a similar lineup, but I like with my lineup, I would like the characters like you haven't really seen. Like I want to keep the main characters kind of in the background, but a part of the story.
Yeah,
like Cyclops and them and Jean Grey, they're all around. But like I Colossus would be a part of my team. Like Warpath. Like, you know, like just like I always wanted Havoc to kind of get better because he just kind of got the worst.
Havoc had that one scene in First Class, and that was it. He never got anything.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, he just kind of got the ass end of the stick when it came in the cinematic universe. Like the biggest thing, I want to make sure that people know that they're brothers. Like Scott and him are brothers.
Yeah,
you know, and like because that was I felt like the biggest crime in those movies. Well, not the biggest crime, but like one of like 89 crimes committed in that series.
At least.
Because it's just like it just confused a lot of people when he comes on and he's old. Like Havoc is older, doesn't know that Cyclone. It's just like it just made like I mean I kind of know that they were trying to go for like broader demographic, but it's like the people who are sticking around the series and reading the comics are a part of this demographic too, you know, and like you just confused everybody by doing that, you know, and
well, it's like with Nightcrawler, where you had Azazel and you had Mystique in the same movie, and they're clearly they made Nightcrawler. You just got to look at them to know that. Yet no mention of it. Nothing.
No mention.
It's just like why? Why?
Yeah, I think everything that the Fox movies did wrong, I want to at least correct in some way, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go way overboard with it, but I just wanted to like make sure that like you know the fans of the comic understand that you know like that this is the X-Men, you know, and
So don't worry, we know they screwed up. We're gonna do this right. Like, this is how it's supposed to be, not that crap.
I like I've always wanted Warpath again. For me, he was kind of an interesting character because he's kind of alienated. Like he's like a minority in two folds. You know, he's a mutant and a Native American. So like he kind of gets it like both ends. You know, and I think there's a good character there if you just use him correctly. I don't know. A part of me kind of wants the giant size X-Men crew. But like I don't know, like
it's a good lineup.
You know, yeah. And I like Banshee, even though he's kind of a weird, boring character. He just kind of screams, you know. But there was always something visually striking about a lot of the giant-sized characters. Just maybe it was the costumes that got me, but like.
I mean, that's one of the most important things. Isn't it? They need to have their costume.
101%. 101%. There's no black leather in this movies, you know, and like you gotta understand, like the Marvel Cinematic One versions are definitely 100% gonna have.
They'll get the Captain America treatment. Like it's a goofy as shit costume. You're gonna make it look like it belongs.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know. I think. You know, and this was again another like it was just so. Like with the Fox one, where they at the end, I forgot what was it? Was it Days of Future Past? It was First Class or one of them that like it showed that these people were in the costume, and then the next movie they just kind of.
Oh, that was Apocalypse, where they had all the young kids in the costumes, which I think people overhyped just because Let's be honest, they didn't look great, but they were the only crumb that Fox gave in 20 years.
Yeah.
So of course you're gonna go flip out on them. But...
I'm gonna 100% like I want that. I want everything.
Yeah.
Yellow underwear, straps everywhere, X's all over the fucking place.
Maybe not the underwear. I don't know how the underwear would work.
I don't know.
In fairness, the underwear is one of the only costuming things that the industry has yet to crack on screen.
Yeah, and there's something about Scott's costume that kind of looks weird without that. Because I've got the Mezco version of that figure. Yeah. And it's a great figure, and then you just look down and you're like, where's the underwear? You never want to say that out loud.
I'm pretty certain that's just years of seeing the underwear.
But I think it ties it together. I don't know. Maybe he just got really creative and he just wanted to wear his underwear on the outside of his pants. But
does the figure have a belt or not?
They do have belts. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say because obviously the underwear is like a way to break up that huge block of color.
Yeah.
Otherwise it look too long and lanky. But there's got to be some way.
The safety belt has to be included too, like the hall monitor belt, like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I always love
the sash.
Yeah. I had a kind of affinity for that costume for some reason. I loved all his costumes, but there was just something about that costume. Maybe it was because it was drawn by Jim Lee. I don't know, but there's no Buccaneer boots. Maybe that's why, because
possibly.
But I want to go balls to the wall when it comes to these costumes.
Yeah.
I don't want to hint at anything. I just want them to come out the gate with them on. I don't want to there's no training uniform. There's no, jackets with an X on it.
I mean, what they could do, because obviously the original 5 all had that uniform. You could have the Danger Room uniform as that, and that's where you get your underwear. Yeah, the underwear and the gloves, and that's where you get that. And it's there's some pseudoscience explanation behind it. But then when they go out, they have the costumes.
Yeah, I just want, like I said, I just want to I don't want any hints to the costumes. I don't want to have to wait to the end of the movie to show the costume. I want them to walk out 30 minutes out of the movie, and I want them in that fucking costume. I want
so we're long past the point of half-assing this stuff.
No hinting. We're done with hinting.
Yeah.
I'm done with seeing black with little hints of yellow on it,
the little yellow pinstripes.
Oh yeah,
So I see Wolverine has got the claw marks on his side. They're just outlines.
Yeah. I think the only reason Bryan Singer did that is because he has ulterior motives. He likes that look on people. We're not gonna get political, but it does. Damn. It all adds up.
Oh dear. Not that I defend Bryan Singer, because the guy is an absolute sicko. He's disgusting. But
maybe he just had it in the contract. You have to wear black leather.
No, they definitely. I'm going to try and get away from them. They definitely need the costume.
I think I was going to say, in fact, before you hit set, there's going to be a sign that says no black leather past this point. That's on the door before you even enter the set.
See, the first mistake Feige's going to fix is just going to have a stack of comics. Here's a reading room. You don't have to come into my office now and sneak read Wolverine comics, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
You can legitimately, between takes, go over here and read and catch up on it.
Go ahead. Catch it. Watch the Frank Miller,
And no, we're not going to do what Logan done and have the whole, these things are stupid. It's just shut off.
Yeah. I that was the only part of that movie I just was really. So
it's what do you think is stupid? Sorry, what are you going to say?
I was going to say, who do you got as Wolverine?
This is the thing. I don't have a cast. I honestly can't decide who to cast for any of them. I'm at the point now where it's in my head, it's it's got to be a Hugh Jackman type. And it's well, I don't want a Hugh Jackman type. I've had enough of that. I want someone completely different. And it's like, oh,
You
you
want
need
someone-
someone like Patrick Stewart. It's like, no, get away from the Patrick Stewart mentality.
Well, he had his time with the character. Now it's time for someone else
Yeah.
to have the character. You know, like
Exactly.
you can't dwell in the past. Like if you get like a Patrick Stewart character, all you're gonna hear is, "Oh, he looks just like Patrick Stewart." You know, like,
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Which is,
You don't-
to
you
be
don't
fair,
want
it's going to be kind of hard. It's an old bald dude in a chair. Unless you do the whole Hickman thing and he's walking around properly, which you're kind of getting rid of like a bit of rep there for disabled people, but that's a bridge
think if
Marvel
you-
can cross when they get.
I think if you cast the right person, you will not have that problem. Like you get the right person that people like, and just they'll get past it. You know, like I said, Patrick Stewart. Like, look, Patrick Stewart could come back when Secret Wars is happening. You know, like, but he's
Yeah.
it's done, man. You know, like he had his films. You know, it's time to reinvent the characters for now. You know, like
Yeah.
You know,
Though I wouldn't mind getting like Patrick and McKellen back for a different mutant role. This is a little wink and a nod, like, hey, they're these people now. Because I think people can accept that, because, you know, we've got J. Jonah Jameson as the same actor from movies that started 20 years ago. I think people get the difference at this point. I know it's slightly different between, you know, an actor you haven't seen play that role in that 13 years to you literally just saw Patrick Stewart 5 years ago. It's slightly different, but I think you could get away with having them be other people. So don't waste, like, you need these actors at some point. Like, why not have a little wink and a nod to their history as part of the X-Men by being other mutants?
I'm on the opposite end. I'm just saying, leave it, like let it breathe for a couple years. Then bring him back. You know, it's the same with Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. It's like as much as I love those characters and the actors that made it, like at some point you can't rely on that. You can't.
Oh no, well,
can't
I'm not
rely
saying
on
to like
those-
rely, like, obviously that you'd be bringing those two back for that role, like, you know,
Oh, okay.
maybe bring back Stewart as, you know, do Excalibur and have him be Merlin or something. Have him be like the original Braddock. Like, that's kind of more what I was meaning. Like,
Okay.
Don't have them as those roles. I don't want that in the slides. They did what they were told to do in those roles. They did that kind of all right, but have them be someone else.
Good. Well,
Like, you know, maybe McKellen can be Merlin and Stewart can be the first Braddock in the Manor. Like, do something like that. Like, just have that sort of like wink and a nod there.
Yeah. But it would be pretty awesome to bring them all back for that for that Secret Wars, you know, mega crossover.
And then you can do a real old man, Logan, and actually have like Hugh Jackman be old and not makeup old.
Yeah.
Admittedly, he is kind of old, but he ain't. Like, I want like Hugh Jackman just to walk on set like with no makeup. He just looks like a haggard old man.
Crotchety old man, you know, like, gray hair. Yeah, like,
actually, you could bring back Hugh Jackman as the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine.
Yeah.
Just have him Mr. Hand and everything.
That'd be kind of cool. But then you'd have like why is that guy taller than the guy who's playing him?
I mean, it's true. It's true.
Or
Different
you can
universe, so fine.
Or you can just hobbit them, you know, and just kind of shrink them down a little bit.
Yeah, let's put everyone else in the box. I mean, if we can make Peter Dinklage 20 foot tall, we can make Hugh Jackman 4 foot.
4 foot.
It would look weird as all hell, Hugh Jackman being like a 5'1" bloke, but we can make it happen. We can make it happen.
The technology's there for sure.
You know, we've taken Chris Evans from a skinny guy to a massive guy. Like, we can do whatever.
And then old again.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to think of something else then, but
I guess we did. I mean, we also, you know, made Michael Douglas look young again. So
there is that. And Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer got treatment.
Oh yeah, she's still hot though.
Pfeiffer back as Catwoman for Keaton. in Flashpoint, just to completely sidebar. Put her back in the suit, damn it. Put her back in the suit.
Would. Why not? You know, like you're bringing back.
I mean, if you're doing Keaton again, like just bring her back, like.
And why not? You know, like that's like double whammy points. You know, like hey, we didn't only just get Michael Keaton back. You know, like we got Michelle Pfeiffer, and
you got like the Catwoman back.
By default, we got God, I can't remember his name.
They need Jim Carrey back. They need what's his face for Two-Face back? I can't think of his name.
Christopher Walken by default.
Oh no, who's? Oh, he was in Men in Black as well.
Was it? It's not Liam Neeson because we can't have that.
No, the original Men in Black with Will Smith. I can't think of his name.
Will Smith?
No, the other one. The white guy.
Tommy Lee Jones, right?
That's the one, yeah.
The crusty old guy. Yeah. Exactly.
Get Tommy Lee Jones back as Two-Face. You need Danny DeVito back for Penguin. Just get them.
Why not?
Get Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. Cast the Bane, and not just a guy making random noises.
Yeah, like he's being kicked in the nuts.
Or even get that Bane back, but have Tom Hardy do the voice. Done.
And then it's like having two pains in one place. Also, Christopher Walken, you know, just for good measure, you know, as Max Shrek.
We just have them all back. Well, anyway,
like,
wildly off topic to what we're actually talking about. Cast is again. I just.
There's a lot of people to cast.
Yeah, there's a lot of people to cast. I'd rather just majority unknowns for the most part. If you want to go big on the bigger names, X-Men, fine. Get big name stars. I don't know who. I still wouldn't mind Olivia Cook as Jean Grey. I think she'd nail that. Yeah. She might be busy elsewhere. We don't know. We don't know. The way things are going.
I might be the minority, but I did love James Marsden as Cyclops. I don't know.
I have no opinion on him because they didn't do anything. He he was there. He shouted Jean and he died. That's all he did in like
three films.
Yeah. He's a fantastic actor because he's great on Westworld where he can actually do something. But in the X-Men movies, they didn't do nothing.
Oh, he's fantastic in Sonic too. I mean, like I say that with
you know what? I always forget he's the dude that does like the live action cartoon hybrid things.
Did he do the bunny one too?
Yeah.
He's getting a lot of work. I mean, like, I don't know. I always pictured him. I don't know. Like he looks like Cyclops. I mean, like he has that look. You know,
he's got a boy
generic white guy. Generic
white guy is probably the best way to put it. He is white bread personified.
Generic white guy number one.
Yeah,
like I don't know. He's a good actor.
Like, have a bit of fun with it. Why not make him Cable?
Why not? You know, if you're gonna bring the Cable. Yeah, I don't know. I still love. Like again, I did love James Brolin though. I think he. I don't know. Man.
Here's the beauty with Cable: you can have about 8 different versions of Cable.
That's true. You know, he can be young Cable.
You could have secret Cables, and just have an entire movie based around multiple Cables fighting each other.
Wolverine Cable, young Cable number 2.
We'll call that Age of Cable.
Cable. And just put straps on everybody.
Straps, massive guns, and tiny feet.
And then a certain person will go online saying, "Oh, I built the universe."
And I did this. Like, shut up, Rob. Sit in your corner.
Your fake check is in the mail. Don't worry.
I say he'd probably cry about suing them because they used his stuff without him working on the movie. It's just like, mate, you can't do that.
You know what the funny thing is like when he says it's my stuff, it's like you signed the rights to whatever you made. It's not your stuff anymore. It's you created it, you drew it, but it's not your stuff. You know, like he can't go around saying,
I mean, let's speak the truth here. He ripped off someone else.
That's true. You know,
Then
Deadpool.
got someone else to write the character. He didn't really do much.
Yeah,
You know,
he just put a
are
couple straps in.
exactly. You know, there are actual quotes of him saying, like, admitting to copying. So
It's like you just put a couple straps on the guy, made his feet anatomically incorrect, and then you know, round guns, and then you have Cable. I mean,
and this is why we have Kid Cable, far superior.
Yeah. It's like this dude actually looks like a person. Like like when you draw, he looks like a blob of inanimate objects, like with round weapons. Yeah, I don't know. Like there's a point of me is like I'm glad Rob Liefeld's around because it makes my life happier to know that there's somebody out there doing really great comedy on Instagram and Twitter. You know, like he is one of the best comedians out there that doesn't practice being a comedian. You know, like he's really funny. Like some of the tangents he goes on.
To each their own, I suppose. He's that annoying old man to me. He's just like, okay, Rob, shut up. You had your day. No one particularly cares anymore.
I just get a kick out of his it's like the minute something catches on, it is like, oh yeah, I created that. That's my creation. You owe me money. You know, it's like, yeah, well, your creation kind of sucks, and like somebody else made it better. And this movie isn't
the
that
bit
great,
we're using that everyone loves was actually done by this person. So sit down, Rob.
It's like maybe we should start giving Tom Wolfman, some credit for creating, Deathstroke, because like if it without Deathstroke, you would not have Deadpool. So maybe you should be celebrating.
You might just give credit for Deadpool to Stan Lee and like Ditko.
Like I would rather that than.
It's like, let's be honest. All Liefeld did with Deadpool was mug off Spider-Man. It's like, right, I'm gonna rip off Deathstroke because I want an edgy Spider-Man, and that's how we get him. It's like,
I don't know if you're banned from his Twitter feed, but like
I have. Last time I checked, I've yet to be blocked.
I
don't know how, but I've yet to be blocked.
Then you really haven't. You really haven't made it as a person, and so
no, I know.
You're not successful.
I've been blocked by other people that I wanted to be blocked by without even mentioning them. I've just gone one day and been like, wow, I've been blocked by this disgraceful person online.
I actually had a Twitter feud with Scott Baio, who blocked me because I said something.
Wow.
I'm no longer able to see a negative D-list celebrity and their stupid political views.
I'm not entirely sure if Rob Liefeld is onto what I'm trying to do, so he's not giving me the satisfaction.
One day you're planning on coming to rotation, and then you'll get banned.
Which, in fairness, just makes the mortal enemy thing a bit stronger. Like that resentment and hate will grow each time he says something dumb and I don't get blocked. And it's just like, Rob.
I think he's funny though. I think he brings a little light in his dark times by saying really funny and outlandish things. So that's how I view him. I
mean, they're definitely outlandish. I would agree with you on that one. Definitely
outlandish is very, very tame in comparison. What he is. He's atrocious. But
to get back onto the cast, do you have any idea? Who would you want to cast in any of these roles?
I'm gonna go with Edgerton as
Wolverine.
Yeah, I think the fans have kind of gone on to something. I think there's a look for him. He's the right height and he looks ferocious.
I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Right, we'll cast him, but it won't be Logan. It'll be Jimmy.
Okay. Same thing, right?
I mean, yeah.
I still haven't the Jimmy thing. Like, he's a great character. Don't get me wrong. I just have got I don't understand. I don't know. This is something I don't understand.
Look, you don't have to explain why you don't get Jimmy Hudson as the only person on the planet that cares about Jimmy, or I should say cared before Colin Bunn all over Hudson and made him some weird, not symbiote thing. No, you don't. I don't
I
talk
haven't-
about that. Jimmy Hudson died in the Ultimates, but you know, I don't know. I think it's because Ultimate X-Men. That's where I started. Was at the Jimmy Hudson bit, and I just
Okay.
had that connection. No, I
I-
don't know. It was well done, and it wasn't Logan because I was tired of Logan at that point. It was like,
Yeah.
you know what? He's Logan, but he's not. It's cool.
I think that's the hardest. I think that's the hardest part for a lot of people to get by, like get past. Is like it's not the character. They're like, here you can have a Wolverine, but it's not going to be the one that you want. You know,
No, he's
it's
essentially
like
got the same name. He's got the same hair. He's just blonde.
blonde.
He's a
Yeah.
kid. He's not as Wolverine. He's not short in his hair. He's not short and hairy. He's like baby
He's
faced.
well groomed. But didn't Laura get over faster than him? Like, didn't she get over as a character like more than?
People love her. Laura had that one X-23 series, and people loved her. I should tell like people like because she was in the cartoon when she was a Harley Quinn moment. But it's like, hey, we're gonna make this in the cartoon, and it's gonna appear in the comics. Yeah, I think people would attach to Laura quite quickly. I apologize for that. There's some compensating bell end.
So do you put her in there too?
Oh yeah, I'd have them both, but I'd have them as like a brother and sister twin thing. As a maybe down the line reveal that they're a clone in like a Wolverine movie, and you can have a bit of family drama that way. I don't know.
I mean,
but
and you could definitely use them in his solo film too if you when you get it.
Yeah.
The Wolverines and like and
maybe maybe bring Gabby some point. No.
Now,
like Gabby.
Biggest question: cuckoos or no cuckoos?
Oh, after what the Gifted done to the Stepford Cuckoos, I think they deserve another shot and actually be done well.
They need redemption.
Yeah. Even though the Cuckoos weren't the worst part of the Gifted, but it's like you're not quite the Cuckoos, are you? Like, you don't really do them right. Not that
I think the whole show
involved. Like,
I think you can say that to every character on that show, though. You know, Polaris, and
I can appreciate the whole the cut they tried to make with the kids.
Yeah.
Being who they were, I can appreciate that. The rest of it, you let yourself down.
It's like a strike one, you know. It's like a good pitch, just wasn't what you know. Right.
So I'll give you credit for the good job you did in one part of it, but you executed it so fucking badly. You get nothing.
So, but do you bring in the cuckoos?
At some point, yes. I think you need to.
In mine, they're always in the background. Like,
I mean, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
They're definitely characters that you could have like just play in the shadows constantly in every movie. You kind of have to walk around like the Fates or something like that.
The problem, the biggest problem for me is like you gotta have Emma Frost at some point too.
See, this is the problem with the X-Men in general. I'm gonna hold my hand up here. I have gone a bit ham right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you kind of need to, but at the same time you don't have to. Like, you can go and just drip feed everything. But if we started slow with the X-Men, no one's going to be alive to actually see things appear.
You're going to take more than 3 movies too.
Exactly. Like we'll be here. They're going to have more than 3 anyway. Let's be real.
It's a quadrilogy.
At least that's in the first year they're back.
Oh, good.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. Really.
I was gonna say you gotta have to establish the main characters before you can start.
That's kind of why I wanted to start at the original 5. And it's like let's have a little wink and a nod to the original stuff and how that went, and then you can jump forward and be like, hey, here's a ton of other stuff, and then you still got room for the future to be like, hey, there's even more stuff than this.
Yeah, like I just realized like. Everything that I laid out is kind of like moot in point because like I think you're right. I think you kind of have to have you kind of have to focus on that original group. It's for some.
It's a very difficult franchise to actually do. Because Oh, there's so many Sony mutants. Everyone wants everything at once. So you either have to like have a single panning shot.
Yeah.
Like,
oh man, you're gonna have to have like a wide frame.
recognizable
What are you talking
costume.
about?
Yeah.
You're gonna
It's
have a
like,
wide frame.
here's
like,
an IMAX. Here's the single IMAX pan in this movie of just
and
everyone in costume.
and you still haven't seen everyone.
Yeah.
Um,
Full disclosure:
like,
this panning shot will last 15 minutes. But
it's like a good 3/4 of the movie is just.
See, here's how you do that. Actually, right? Perfect way to do that. You do the bit from Hickman's run where they bring the like Scott, Jean, Wolverine, and that lot back after going to space to stop the Mother Mold station, right? And you have all the mutants there being like, "Is this? Can we actually come back from the dead? Can we not?" Blah 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 blah. And then when they're there, you just see every mutant like cheering, and then he had the massive party, and there you go. That's how you can show every X-Men character in existence.
Yeah, just put him out there for background character.
Just one shot through the entire island of Koa. Obviously, don't take out the mutant orgy bit. Like that ain't gonna fly in a PG-13.
Yeah.
Maybe hint towards it, but they don't leave full into it like Hickman did. Like,
it's a rated R movie. We'll wait for the unready director's cut.
That's in the road cut. That one.
Yeah. Off to the side again. Like, would you like to see Hickman? Like, I would love to see take away what Hickman's doing now, right? I would love to see what Hickman would do if he said, "All right, I want you to do basically what Lee and Ditko did by introducing these characters for the first time, like what his take would be."
Yeah.
Of,
I mean, I wouldn't be mad. I'd be down for that.
Interesting. I would love to see what he would do from the ground, from the bottom floor up, and because the series as it is like it's like a lot of
it's a lot of everything, a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah, it's almost like hard to explain, but like you kind of need some knowledge of past X-Men stuff, and then he's making stuff up. It's like a little bit of everything, but like I want to see what he would do if they gave him the task of just introducing.
So how do you bring this concept to actually being a reality in this universe? Yeah, bearing in mind we've had like 10 years in universe time of all this wild stuff happening, and we are so far removed from how would he solve the Magneto problem?
But and this is where I think Kevin Feige could use Hickman. Is like, hey, how would you do this? And just take it from there. Because he's got the ideas that he has in his current run. You could almost use that as an introduction to it's almost a fresh start anyways because of but how they could use him to say, hey, how would you do this? How would you integrate these characters into this universe?
It's just why we find out ape as much as possible, really.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's doing all the hard work.
Yeah, he
I'm just
really
coming
is.
up with names.
I tell you what, next week is going to be really short. Just read issue 5 of X-Men from Hickman.
Yeah,
that's
and
my
we'll talk about it.
I have no idea what issue 5 was. I cannot remember, but just read issue 5. That's more like my idea. Or just read House of X and Power of X, and let's just do that. That's just the start. Done.
Could you combine those two stories in some way?
I mean, what, House of X and Powers of X?
Yeah, well, I mean, I know
story anyway.
Well, yeah, I know, but could you condense that whole thing down to a script?
You could make it. What was it? 12 issues, 6 each.
Yeah.
I reckon you could make that an 8-episode Disney Plus series.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
but then you're starting mutants on Disney Plus, and it's like, do you want to do that? But if you're drip feeding mutants in the movies anyway, everywhere and anywhere anyway, why not introduce the larger concept on Disney Plus? The whole point in that service and the whole TV shows is to tell stories you haven't got room for in the movies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you remember that conversation 100 years ago about what they're trying to do with the animated movies section. Yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's I mean, there's like quite possibility, you know, of that.
Now, obviously, I know it will never be on Disney Plus because why would you start the mutant and the X-Men in your universe on Disney Plus? You want that in a movie. But
Yeah.
in fairness, the way the world's going, they might not have a choice. So
Yeah,
make
like
it a
movie
series.
theaters might not exist. You know, like you might as well.
Theaters don't exist. Make it a movie. But,
Why not?
make it a series or whatever.
But yeah, you know, that's the only reason I ask, because it's like, you know, things could happen.
Yeah, I think it's definitely where they should start. But then again, like there's so many names, and you'd have to really adapt the hell out of that.
Yeah, I mean, because
you can't just have Apocalypse just casually stroll on, and then the entire mutant rogue gallery walk in as well. And it's like, who the hell are these people? Why is Thanos here, and why has he got bluer?
Why is he wearing why does he look like Ivan Ooze?
Is he Egyptian? I thought Thanos was from space.
I don't know. You know, that's the biggest problem with Hickman's run is like it's just so dense. You know, like you need.
I mean, the X-Men in general are dense. Like there's so much that you're never going to be able to do it all. Is the problem? You're going to have to really pick and choose.
Well, I think eventually I mean, with them owning the movie rights to these characters, I think they can eventually hit all those marks eventually. You know, it's just because, like, I mean, once the X-Men franchise gets up and running, you're probably never gonna see the end of it. You know, like it's just gonna be like there's gonna be some X in a movie title at some point, at any year.
That's my
I'll be
biggest
dying.
fear.
My funeral will be going on, and I'm pretty sure that there'll be X something going on in you know, video on demand, because let's face it, movie theaters are not going to be around, you know.
Not the current way things are going, no. So.
But yeah, I mean, I think Hickman's run is a good template.
Yeah.
But to do it verbatim is kind of like, whoa. Like
I say, it's impossible to translate it one for one. Impossible.
No, impossible.
You could maybe translate it 30 years from now when you have everything established to then go back and be like, we fancy changing up because we cocked up here.
Here's a language that you've never heard of that is like, you know,
why are they speaking in leaves? I don't understand.
And like when you get into the movie theater, they just hand you a laminated sheet so you can see the translation of.
Here's the alphabet, or what we believe to be an alphabet in our human, small primitive minds.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
you
right.
You could market the Cohen Gates for theaters really well.
Yeah, I think you can see it. I can see a poster just in crowing, you know.
Yeah.
What?
You just have like a marquee of the gate out front, and like out front of the actual screens that only quote mutants can get in.
And then
obviously anyone can just
translate it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You just have weird subtitles.
Yeah. In hindsight, I think what you're saying about the main roster being the five, you know, the first, you know, the first five X-Men is probably better idea than skipping all over the place.
I think you need to do them to some extent.
At least with one movie.
Yeah.
You know, at least with a movie. At least with a movie to like say, hey, these are the foundation. This is like the forefathers of this, you know. I mean, let's face it, it's a world. You know, it's a world inside of a universe. You know,
it's the mutant Mount Rushmore. Right? You need those five.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you kind of need like characters like Magneto and all that stuff.
I mean,
still want to see
who they fight. You could jump around with. You could definitely bench Magneto for a good long while. I can't imagine them doing it because why would you? But you could bench.
I would love to see Magneto as a big bad for the whole universe in general at some point. You know, like because he's hit every character. I mean,
he's hit every faction.
Yeah, he's fought every you know team in the universe.
Let's just do Ultimatum.
Yeah,
Have him pick up Thor's hammer and drown everyone. Do it.
Yeah.
Obviously,
and then
keep out the
people
whole
are like,
blob and
it's-
wasp thing, like all that sort of stuff. Keep that
don't eat Evangeline Jilly, you know,
out.
like poor lady, you know, just because she yeah, she's a weirdo. So, I don't know, you know, it's so hard to think about, like, you know, like there's just so much. It's like going back and like I don't know, the characters are so dense, man. I think you need to start with those.
Say
those
it's
original.
like trying to translate like a Dead Sea Scrolls. Like, it ain't gonna happen. But
Yeah, but
I'm
I
gonna
think
give
that
you a week to actually. You have a week to think of a third part.
sounds like a homework assignment.
It is a homework
Um,
assignment. You have a week, 7 days.
yes,
7 days.
yes.
Do it next
Yeah,
Friday.
uh, yeah. Would you like one on the last note here? Would you connect it to the larger MCU at any
Yes.
point?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we could save that discussion for the next.
I mean, you could have the, let's have that as the third part. How exactly to connect it? Because it's all well and good doing Hickman's stuff, but Hickman's stuff is very isolated.
Yeah.
It does obviously connect via tiny threads. I say tiny. Franklin
To
Richards is a
characters that
massive
haven't
thread.
been. Yeah, and then you got the characters that haven't even been introduced being the connective thread. You know.
Yeah, and it's also kind of where the Avengers in all this.
Yeah.
What's going
I
on in
think.
that part?
Yeah, yeah. I think the movies could really answer some of the questions that I had for the comic series. Like, again,
Yeah.
where are the Avengers in this? You know, like, where are they at? You know, like, just give me a TV screen with them saying, yeah, they're all fighting, blah 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 blah. You know, or whatever. You know, something to tell me that they're in this, like,
Yeah, we'll discuss that in the third part, because that's probably a pretty loaded question. So, yeah, before I melt and evaporate into nothingness, we're gonna end the show here. So thanks for stopping by, everyone, and we'll catch you all next week.